So you almost lost your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What happened? We're going to talk about you first. Then we're going to get into some other news of the day. But what happened? How did you almost lose your YouTube channel?
Basically, I put up a video of my own album, like the full album. I put it up on YouTube as an unlisted video, so you can't see the video unless I give whoever wants to watch it the link. And mostly, all I was really using that for is bookers that didn't know me or venues that didn't know me. So it had a very low view count. But since the pandemic, I know people are struggling. So if they wanted to listen to my stuff, I was just kind of like adding it to my email list for free, so that people that were going through a financially hard time can still like enjoy some comedy if they wanted to. So since the numbers started going up, it blocked the video. It blocked this unlisted video and gave it a copyright claim, because the copyright claim belongs to CD Baby, which is the service I use to put my albums out.
Right.
And so for a while, I didn't want to dispute it, because I was kind of nervous that if I disputed it, something crazy was going to happen, which it did. Because the second I disputed it, they basically said I have 30 days, or YouTube gets the right to delete my entire channel, because these are copyright strikes against me. Like it's my own material that
it's a copyright strike against you for your own album.
For my own album, yeah.
and you weren't able to, so you reached out to CD Baby and YouTube to kind of rectify this.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube was basically like, we can't really do anything beyond you just doing the dispute. Like, there's no human being I could get in contact with for YouTube.
That's amazing.
Which is great. It's the same thing with Facebook. Like, I've dealt with issues with Facebook. Can't get a human being to talk to me about any sort of like why my post is deleted, or why I can't comment on certain people's things, or what have you. So CD Baby basically told me like, oh, they can just remove the claims from the video, which basically means like I can't monetize the video, which is fine, because I'm not going to get monetized anyway, because I talk about anti-establishment stuff, and I talk about being anti-war and like how we shouldn't be shitty to each other. And that is
why I can't monetize my streams anymore. My streams, like sometimes they'll like randomly come back, but I can't even monetize my streams anymore. My clips are occasionally still monetized, but my streams, I just don't even have the option anymore.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, I don't even know. I mean, right now, people in the chat are saying they're having a hard time with the like button. They're trying to like the video. They can't do it right now. And all we're talking about is a glitch. And I mean, this goes to a bigger theme, because it's like, you can't be the first person that was in this situation, because part of the problem was you used a different email address.
Yes.
So like, for anyone who's kind of like, what the hell? So Krish used a different email address for his stand-up material that he published through CD Baby. And then he posted it on his YouTube. So that copyright was registered to that email address via CD Baby. So because Krish had two different email addresses going on, they basically gave him a copyright strike against himself. So, and then they threatened to delete his whole channel. So this is a total just glitch that could happen. But here's why this is noteworthy. There was no human being involved with this, no human being you could get in contact with. And all of a sudden, they're coming down on random things, and it happened shortly after Trump's executive order. I mean, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy here, but you can't help but notice all this weirdness is happening at the same time. You have this go on with your channel. My channel gets completely demonetized. Channels on the anti-establishment left and on the right have been deleted. There's been a bunch of channels deleted. There's been, Convo Couch got suspended for a week. I mean, there's all these random things happening all at once, and you can't help notice the timing, that it's an election season, and this executive order came through that basically said, hey, publishing platforms can be held liable for stuff now. So we're seeing more censorship.
Oh, absolutely. And that was kind of the crazy part, because CD Baby basically told me, "Oh, we can just take care of it on our end." And I guess there was some major miscommunication that happened, because the person from CD Baby's YouTube team, because they have a specific team that deals with all of the crazy shit from YouTube, because that's how distributors have to deal with it now. They basically thought I was trying to claim my video, and they couldn't see like my claim request, and they said, "Well, it's going to be blocked anyway, so we're just not going to do anything." And at that point, I had 15 days for them to remove these claims, or YouTube was like, "We can just
Just gonna
remove it if
delete
you
your
feel
whole
like it."
channel. Now,
Yeah,
how long have you had your channel?
I started this channel when I was in college, so
So like
probably like
45 years ago.
45 years ago. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of old stand up from, like I would put up whenever I would perform at my campus and stuff, and that's all fine. Like if you want to see an unbearded, very awkward Krish Mohan on stage, there's videos of that up on that channel. But like over the last 5 or 6 years,
Yeah,
I've
you
built
do
the
a lot of
channel to be.
content, and you do
Yeah,
topical stuff too. I mean, that's the thing. It's like
exactly.
if it's a comedian's channel where it's like they just post a stand-up clip here and there, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's one thing. But when it's someone who does topical material for YouTube, like you're wiping out an entire library over nothing, and you don't really give a fuck.
Right. Right. I don't think they care at all. And like I was thinking about this, and I remember there's so many instances throughout this pandemic where just random weird things happened, where YouTube decided that they can take videos down and take channels down that they have deemed go against community standards, and provide zero explanation. And the way that they say it is because they don't have the staffing ability, because of the pandemic. And it's like, you're YouTube. Like you're a
Yeah.
massive company that's owned by another massive company. How do you not have enough people that could double check this stuff, right? Like,
Well, and
wouldn't
this
that be
goes.
a Republican initiative to make that a job that you can start?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, here's the thing. What needs to happen is that these platforms, Google, Facebook, YouTube, they need to uphold free speech laws in the United States. I'm not saying our free speech laws are completely flawless, but they're pretty damn good. I couldn't come up with a better way to, orchestrate speech than our free speech laws. So I think it's like they're pretty damn good. Let's start there. Let's follow the free speech laws of the United States. I know that's a hell of a lot better than letting some tech bureaucrats who have no freaking clue decide what people can and can't see. Like that's absolutely
Yeah.
insane. That's like, I mean, in what other context would you even entertain that idea? Hey, I don't know if this is real news or not. I don't know if this is protected speech or not. I better ask my dentist. Like, does that make any sense? It's the same freaking thing. So, and the thing is, the best way to go about this would either be to make a law requiring it or make these entities public utilities. But here's the thing, they could do this on their own.
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, when they say like we care about speech, it's like, no, clearly you don't, because the solution is right there and you could do this on your own. Nothing's stopping you from hiring free speech professionals, lawyers to uphold this stuff. No one's stopping you from giving somebody that job. No one's stopping you. They could do that. They have the power to do that. And it's so funny when you see these people on the left who are blinded by the tree so they don't see the forest. And they're like, well, when they censor somebody I don't like, I'm okay with it. So keep in mind, they're a private company. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, well, that includes actually hiring professionals to oversee this stuff who know what they're doing. They could do that. They choose not to, and they're not going to, because at the end, they don't really give a shit about free speech. They just give a shit about their bottom line. But they could do that, which that just makes it even more infuriating.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Is like you see people like Jack Dorsey go out there, make these public statements, and try to be
CEO of Twitter. For anyone who doesn't know,
CEO of Twitter, yeah, and Dorsey,
not everybody's as nerdy as we are, Krish.
That's fair.
Jack Dorsey. I have a poster of Jack on my wall, and let me tell you when he said.
I definitely would not put up a Jack Dorsey poster. I put him up right next to my Bill Hicks poster.
There you go.
And then watch this cigarette burn from the Bill Hicks poster set the Jack Dorsey poster on fire. No, but they try to do all these humanitarian efforts, but again, they go about doing them. Why can't you just directly give money to whatever you want to give money to? But they always start these proxy companies, right? These proxy nonprofits, and that's how they have to funnel their money. And because in the long run, you're probably getting some kind of tax break anyway, and you're probably going to make more money in the back end. And that's why you're running it through this weird channel. But again, it's like you don't have to do that at all. One, you can just directly donate to whatever you want to donate to. But two, like you can also employ people to be like the face of your company. Like I would have loved to just have someone to call at YouTube and be like, hey, this is happening and this seems like a crazy oversight. Instead of CD Baby having to go through their people and having to deal with weird YouTube rules and then have a misunderstanding on their side. And then basically me having to restart the conversation all over again.
Yeah.
And then,
well, let's stick to your story for a second then until we get like more thematic here. We jumped around a bit. So how did you save your channel?
Basically, I called CD Baby and I re-explained what was going on with them, and they had to do.
So they had a human. CD Baby. They had a person. Human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even and they're a big company. Don't get me wrong, but compared to Google, they're small.
Right.
CD Baby is small compared to Google, but nonetheless, you got a freaking human being there.
But they also have to have like a specific department that is fully dedicated to YouTube itself, because YouTube doesn't have something like that. So it's these companies that partner with YouTube that have to like build a department within themselves to deal with the nonsense that is YouTube. And so basically the customer service rep got in touch with somebody from that team, explained what was going on, and then they were basically like, oh, we can remove these claims within 5 days. We just misunderstood and thought that they were trying to claim this video and say that this video was violating copyrights, not that there was already a copyright claim that they're trying to get removed. So it took 5 days, right? But it's all this stuff would have been a whole lot simpler if I could just call YouTube and be like, hey, weird glitch. I have 2 different emails and I'm getting this weird copyright claim. And now you guys are saying that you want to delete my channel, and they could have probably just hit a button and removed all of those claims, but they didn't. And
and it's really extreme that they're saying we're going to delete your channel. It's really extreme that at the least they wouldn't just say we're going to delete those videos or tell you like, hey, please delete those videos. I mean, all those actions are inappropriate given the fact that it's just a misunderstanding.
Right.
But I'm just saying it's so odd that their number one is like, well, we're just going to delete your channel. Screw you.
Right. And I mean, I totally understand the reason why you have copyright claims and all that kind of stuff.
Of course. Right? Absolutely.
But this is one of those instances where I was like, I can't be the only one that has 2 different emails, right? Like where I have a distribution.
You're definitely not the first person. I mean, I have that same situation. Like I have that same, because like, I mean, my stand-up album, the label handled all that. But the email they have on file for me, it's a different email address than my YouTube. It's just, you just get different email addresses as time goes on. It happens, or you get a different email address for one thing or another. And so, I mean, I have that same thing, and I don't play. I mean, my album is just audio, so I know that it's available on YouTube, but I think it's just via the label. So I just really don't touch it at all. But yeah, man.
The one thing that CD Baby did tell me is that in November of last year, YouTube changed one of its rules to prevent people from doing what I did, to prevent people from putting like long full sets on YouTube that were correlated to a stand-up album. Mm-hmm. So I think it's like people that put like their full Comedy Central specials on YouTube, but what should that matter? It still drives traffic to YouTube, right? Like why? And it keeps them on their platform for a whole lot longer. Like earlier this year, I watched Ted Alexandro's new special on YouTube.
Was that the one that he did? That was the one he did from his house, right? That was like the quarantine thing.
No, I watched.
Oh, this was an older one.
The one that I think he recorded right before the pandemic happened.
Because Ted did that, right? Ted did like a special from his living room, literally. Didn't he do that?
I think so. I think
he did.
Talking about it. I can't remember. It's a great special, but I didn't watch it on Netflix. I watched it on YouTube.
Ted Alexandro is one of those comics that he makes you mad how good he is. Like you watch his stand and you're like, fuck. Like he's so good. I love Ted's one of my favorite comics to watch. Like one of my favorite comics to watch. And you know what? I do really give a lot of props. I've never met Jim Gaffigan, and I know Jim Gaffigan isn't really political at all, except for when he like tweeted about Trump recently. But it's like, I give the guy a lot of credit for having someone like Ted Alexandro open for him all the time. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, I really do. When you see headliners at that level take someone like a Ted Alexandro out, that says a lot. Because that says, first of all, it says like they want to work. It says, because, Ted Alexandro is a heavy hitter. He's not an easy guy to follow. So Jim Gaffigan is like, I know that I have my audience, but I want to work. I want to earn it every night. I want to know that I'm earning that spot. So, I applaud. And I know they're just like good friends and stuff, but I applaud him for taking Ted Alexandro out, because Ted's great.
Ted's awesome. Ted has one of the best Bernie jokes, and I think one of the best Green Party jokes. And in two separate hours.
I've never, we won't do it because it's like we won't do it justice. But I've not, his Bernie joke, I know what you're talking about, and that is a fantastic Bernie joke. His Green Party joke, I've not heard. I got to look that up.
I think that's from the senior class of Earth. I think that's the show that I'm thinking of. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I just remember being like a really good joke where it doesn't disparage the Green Party, but he talks about voting for the Green Party and why he did it. It's such a great joke. People should go watch it.
Yeah, check out Ted Alexandro. Yeah, I got to get him on this show. I've never had Ted on this show before. I really got to do that. I had him on my when I had a radio show in Nashville. I had him on. Actually had him on the day of his, I think it was he was doing. So it's like the day of his Conan. So we plugged his Conan. Like, I'm like, yeah, well, he'll be on Conan tonight, but he's getting the heavy media out of the way first. First, he's doing my morning show in Nashville. then he's gonna do Conan, No big deal.
Okay, real chill.
So you got your YouTube channel back because CD Baby essentially just wiped it all out. Like they're just like, this is fine. And then the YouTube robots were like, okay, the robots are okay now.
Pretty much.
Did you ever talk to a person at YouTube?
Nope.
No.
I couldn't. There was nothing. They told me I could dispute it, and I figured that when I would go to dispute the block and go to dispute all these claims, that I would get like an email, like a support email or something. But it basically said, you can dispute it, but we're just going to send it to whoever owns the copyright, and they have to deal with it by themselves, right? So CD Baby basically had like 30 days to just deal with it on their own. And YouTube was just like, and if they don't, we're gonna penalize you. Like,
that is,
we're not gonna talk to you about anything.
Well, and and I can't help, and again, I'm not trying to like dive too deep, but I firmly believe there's no way they would just be like, we're gonna delete your channel. Had this happened a year ago. There's no way their first go-to was, we're deleting channel. It's like right now, for a number of reasons that are going on. I mean, a lot of people don't realize the dangerous time this really is for digital rights. And, it doesn't go away with Trump leaving, by the way. Biden's Biden, first of all, the executive order that Trump put forth, which is a disaster. It does not protect speech. It makes things worse. It just transfers authoritarianism to FCC instead of to big tech. And it opens the door for more censorship, not less. It's we've covered it on this show, Biden supports it too. It's not like Biden's against it. Biden supports it too. So there's bipartisan support for this disastrous thing that I think a lot of it just comes from a lack of understanding, because we're in this weird time where technology and the law are not in sync. They've not caught up to each other.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and